Hi, my name is Frank Robin O'Keefe, and I am a paleontologist at Marshall University in West Virginia. And I'm here at the invitation of Patrick Trask to look at the Elasmosaur marine reptile material from the Santonian Campanian late Cretaceous of British Columbia. So it's some very interesting skeletal material, two primary specimens, an adult and a juvenile, that are elasmosaurs. Now, these animals have been known for a while, but no one has really looked at them scientifically to try to figure out to whom they're related, and that's my job. So I was put into contact with Pat through my contact, Mike Caldwell, and he graciously invited me up, so we've come to visit, and it's been fantastic. I was really blown away by the fossils. They have a very interesting combination of features that I did not expect to see here. So I think the affinities that I'm seeing here are most like animals that I've seen down in Chile, in Antarctica, and New Zealand, so Southern Hemisphere affinities. And this is the first animal of that group that's been identified in the Northern Hemisphere. So that in itself is fascinating. I think there's more than enough material here to name a new taxon, and I think this certainly is a new taxon. I think it's a new genus of Elasmosaur. And so that's interesting in itself, and obviously that's very interesting for British Columbia. But what's more interesting, I think, for me is that this is going to tell us a lot about the evolution of filter feeding in these very derived southern hemisphere plesiosaurs that lived around Antarctica in the Maastrichtian, because this animal has some of the adaptations, but not all of them. So while I worked up this animal and get it into the cladogram, I hopefully will be able to figure out a lot more about the evolutionary history of filter feeding in plesiosaurs. And I think that this new taxon here in Courtenay is going to be a real key player in that analysis. And I'm very excited to work this stuff up, and that's going to be the goal in the short term, is to get this thing published. And I can't say enough about the work that Pat and his team has done here at the museum, because the material's wonderfully curated, the preparation's fantastic, and everything was here with a bow on it when I walked in the door, which was fantastic. The documentation is extraordinarily thorough and very well done, and it's just been great. So I'm really psyched, I'm really pumped to work on this thing. I think it's really important scientifically, and I think it can be important to the community as well. Like, it's kind of an iconic taxon. And once it has a name, and I think that people learn a little bit more about the story of it and the story of the evolution of filter feeding and how this animal fits into that, I think it'll give it a lot of context and richness, and hopefully bring more people to the area. So thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
No problem.